So you probably know UnderDog from best ball drafts, but have you ever heard of UnderDog Pick Ems?
Right.
Okay. This is one of our favorite weekly fantasy games that we get to play. We are partnered with UnderDog. So if you want to play Pick Ems with us, then all you have to do is use our promo code, which is LAND, LAND, at underdogfantasy.com. Deposit at least $10 to have your deposit match up to $100.
That is right.
Sign up link is in the description. Use our sign up link in the description. And then join our Discord, which is also in the description. And we're going to start posting our pick'ems on a weekly basis. We're going to be doing 2 sets of pick'ems. Yes. Right now, you're looking at the Thursday night slate. We will also do a weekend slate. You can feel free to tweet us as well if you want to send your pick'ems to us. All right, so a couple quick rules that you might need to know. You have to at least make 2 picks, okay? And they have to be from at least 2 teams. Now, if you make up to 5 picks, you'll get a 20-1 return. If you only make 2 picks, it's 3-1. 3 picks is 6-1. 4 picks is 10-1. Your payout is going to include your entry fee, but we like to go big, baby. I mean, go big or go home. We're going to pick 5 pick'ems. We're going to pick 5 pick'ems here for the first Thursday night football game. Bills, Rams. Insurance is an option. You can always consider insurance, which means that you have to you can have 1 pick that doesn't hit. You still get paid. But basically what we want to do today is we want to do our best to avoid unknown scenarios with these options, okay? So UnderDog has all of these options that you can either click that you think that stat is going to be higher or lower for a player. And what Badake and I are going to do, we're going to go through our entries. I'm going to tell you my entry first, and he's going to tell you his entry, and just tell you why we're making those picks. Now, to be clear, we're not telling you that you need to make these picks. We're just showing you what we're doing. And then hopefully you can let us know in the Discord what you're doing.
Do what you want with your money. Keep that in mind.
Exactly. All right. So my first pick, I mean, there's a lot of options here for this Thursday night slate. And Josh Allen, Josh Allen himself has 8 options that you could potentially choose from. So for me, the one that stood out the absolute most was the 38.5 rushing yards. On my first pick, I'm going to do Josh Allen higher than 38.5 rushing yards. Now, the reason I'm doing that, I looked back at Josh Allen's 2021 year. Now, will that be the same this year? No, but I want to look at trends. I want to see how likely is it that Josh Allen will hit that number. Now, last season, he hit higher than 38.5 rushing yards on 65% of his games. So to me, when I looked through and I looked at all these options, that felt like one of the safest picks. There's a couple other out there that I thought were really safe. We will go through those because I don't want to, if there's one that you have on your slate.
No, for sure. I mean,
I'll let you do yours later. Just
fair.
Because there's 3 that I think others could choose if they want. But give me Josh Allen over 38.5 rushing yards versus the Rams. Aaron Donald. Okay, purely because of the pressure Aaron Donald's going to put on, Josh Allen is going to have to scramble at times.
No doubt.
All right, my second pick here, Stephon Diggs. I'm going Stephon Diggs. Now, the line yesterday, they played me a little bit here, okay? The line yesterday was 75.5 receiving yards, okay? I wish I submitted my slip yesterday. That's frustrating. But the reason I'm going lower, what should have been 75.5 receiving yards, is because Diggs last year hit that lower number on 65% of his games. He had less than 76 receiving yards on 65% of his games. Now, I'll take the 73.5. I wish these lines would just kind of stay more true, but here we are. And Stephon Diggs is going to have Jalen Ramsey covering him all game.
Exactly.
So if Jalen Ramsey is on him all game, I'm looking at other options that could potentially succeed, which leads me to my third pick here, which is Isaiah McKenzie.
Oh, boy.
Higher than 3 receptions, okay? Why am I choosing Isaiah McKenzie higher than 3 receptions? Look, it's hard. It's hard to predict this one. But, again, my second pick and my third pick are kind of matching up here. You see, the trends of the game. What you want to be careful of is you don't want to have a bunch of things that are really unlikely to happen. You want them to mesh at some point so it makes sense. So Isaiah McKenzie, higher than 3 receptions. He has been appointed the slot receiving role from everything that we understand. Last year, Cole Beasley held that role. Cole
Yep.
Beasley had higher than 3 receptions on 11 of 17 games. That is 65% of the time. And what we know historically is that the slot position for this team with Josh Allen has been very, very reliable. So he was dealing with a groin injury. Now he seems to be good to go. If Ramsey is indeed shadowing Diggs all game and camp star Isaiah McKenzie's open, then I do anticipate him to get more than 3 receptions, higher than 3 receptions.
That's
now,
fair. That's
if he
fair.
only gets 3, it's a push. We don't have to worry about it too much. All right, now for my 4th pick, we're going to the opposite side of the board. Now, is it the same? Okay, they moved the line again.
They definitely did.
My goodness.
It's all happening, brother.
That's frustrating. Maybe we need to record on the same days we prepare. All right, Matthew Stafford, higher than 270.5 passing yards. That's what it was. It was 270.5. I felt confident in that. Now, look, Stafford last year, 12 of 17 games.
Yep.
He hit over 270 passing yards. That is 71% of the time. Allen Robinson is here. Running back still a little bit banged up, playing against the Bills, who should be able to score a lot of points. So this one right here, before they moved it to 275.5, was one of my most confident picks. Now, seems like they're moving these lines right now, which is frustrating me because I've done all my research, but still, 275.5. I'll go ahead and hit the higher number. In my last pick, please tell me they haven't moved it for Tyler Higbee. They have not. Okay. Tyler Higbee, higher than 4 receptions. Okay, higher than 4 receptions.
Brother Tyler.
8 of 15 games last year, he hit higher than that number. That is 53% of the
Good
time.
one.
I'm sorry, actually 9 of 15 games. So 60% of his games last year, he hit that number. I was prepared to do the lowers for Tyler Higbee.
Yeah, Tyler Higbee is definitely interesting for sure.
I went back and I looked at his his workload last year, specifically with Bobby Trees out or with OBJ out, and like he's been pretty involved. Van Jefferson will not play this game because of that knee procedure he's still recovering from.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the 5 picks that I'm going to make here for the Thursday Night Football slate, and we're just going to do $10 for that. I'm going to go ahead and submit my slate here, and I'll paste this in the I'll send this link in the Discord here in a second so you guys can see my picks live. So those are my pick'ems. Badake, what are your pick'ems for this Thursday Night Football slate?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the first one, let's just get that one out the way. I completely agree with you with the Josh Allen over 38.5 rushing yards. Kind of like you said, this team is going to have, or Josh Allen himself is going to have to run. He's going to be pressured there with Aaron Donald. It's going to be hard. Okay, so I'm feeling really, really confident in Josh Allen. So let's get that right out the way. Okay, my next guy that I'm really confident in is Gabriel Davis. Higher than 4 receptions. I mean, we saw what he did in the playoffs. Obviously, it was a very minuscule glimpse. But like you kind of said with Stephon Diggs, Jalen Ramsey is going to be there. Jalen Ramsey is going to be on Stephon Diggs. And sometimes he likes to travel. Sometimes he doesn't like to travel. But I really feel confident in Gabriel Davis getting over 4 receptions. We even saw it a little glimpse in the preseason. I know it's preseason, but like he caught 2 out of his 3 targets, and that was one drive. And he caught a touchdown. I mean,
this one felt like really, really, really safe to me. I just went Isaiah McKenzie because I was like, like, is there a scenario Gabe just like doesn't hit for whatever reason?
For sure.
There's scenarios for both, but you're right. Both of these are good options.
Yeah, and I feel really confident in Gabriel Davis. And let's continue with the Bills here. Give me Dawson Knox over 7.9 fantasy points, or higher, excuse me. We do higher here in UnderDog. Higher than 7.9 fantasy points. That feels really, really comfortable. They just gave him a massive contract extension. He likes to get the work. Once again, Jalen Ramsey, this secondary is really good. So if Josh Allen can find him in these middle parts of the pocket or in the end zone, which he likes to fall into, I feel really confident. Last year, he only had 5 games out of 17 games where he scored less than 7.9 fantasy points.
Yeah.
That feels really confident. I feel really confident in that one with Dawson Knox. So give me that every single day. Now, let's go to the other side of the ball here. Matthew Stafford. And I know you kind of prepped this earlier, but they do have fantasy points now, which I really like. Higher than 18.45 fantasy points for Matthew Stafford. kind of like you said, this backfield is kind of, it was dinged up. They both saying that they're now healthy, and I think they are going to want to run the ball. But I actually feel really confident in Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Told in
Keep
the
in
rock.
mind, 4-point passing touchdowns.
Exactly. That's what I want to say.
UnderDog.
4-point passing touchdowns, which I did my research and I double checked. 14 times he hit over 18.45 fantasy points.
That's a good hit then.
Yeah, that feels really confident. That's also including that's actually including the playoffs. Just FYI, just want to keep that in mind. So I do feel really confident in Matthew Stafford, throwing touchdowns and getting a lot of fantasy points. There's no doubt. I mean, I think we can all agree that somehow Cooper Kupp, somehow Allen Robinson is going to fall into the end zone. That could already be, he's probably halfway there just if he threw 1 yard line touchdowns. You get what I'm saying? So I feel really confident in that. Now my last guy, give me the new shiny toy for Sean McVay and Allen Robinson. I feel really confident in this. Over 11.45 fantasy points. Higher. Sorry. Okay. Higher for 11.45 fantasy points.
Okay.
Once again, I'm going based off, last year's stats, kind of what happened. Obviously, Allen Robinson wasn't with this team, but who was Roberto Woods? Not saying he is Roberto Woods. I think he's going to be even better than Roberto Woods and what he can do.
Agreed.
But, I mean, last year, Roberto Woods averaged 15.2 fantasy points per game. Every single game, I think there was one game that Robert Woods only scored less than 11.5 fantasy points. He wasn't this home run guy for you, but a great flex for Robert Woods. But Allen Robinson, a better talent, a bigger wide receiver, a contested catch guy, put a fade in the end zone. Yeah. Allen Robinson is going to be there. So I feel really confident in A-Rob with higher than 11.4 fantasy points coming in.
All right, so to recap, Badake's over are higher than 38.5 rushing yards for Allen, higher than 4 receptions, higher than pretty much 8 fantasy points you have to hit for Dawson Knox.
Exactly.
Higher than 18.5 fantasy points for Stafford.
Correct.
Higher than 11.5 for Allen Robinson. That bad boy.
So here we go.
You're going all hires.
All hires today, baby. That's what you got to do. There it is.
Expecting a big matchup.
We'll definitely share that link. That will be in the link in the description as well.
Yeah, and I just wanted to quickly go through a couple things that I think we might want to avoid with this Thursday night slate. Just because I feel like there are certain players that in general I'm trying to avoid right now.
Yeah.
So risks right now to me, Devin Singletary. So Devin Singletary's here. I had yours up.
No, that's
so
fine.
Where's Devin Singletary? So Devin Singletary, there's a lot of options for him, and I feel like you can hit most of these, but the risk is what exactly is James Cook's role? What is Zach Moss's role? I just think we want to avoid those, slightly unknown scenarios.
Mm-hmm. And this defense is ridiculous, honestly. Yeah,
and then also the running backs for the Rams. I mean, I don't know what Cam Akers and Darrell Henry, we've been talking about it all offseason. Both have been dealing with injuries. Both seem to be healthy. But there's just not a higher, lower there for those two players that I particularly want to explore just because, again, with a game where you already have to hit so many times, you want to avoid risky scenarios. And every time you hit a higher, lower, it gives you the same, multiplier. So
exactly. One thing I want to say with that, if there was a point where I was going to put higher rushing attempt, 12 rushing attempts for Cam Akers. I know this is split backfields, but I think Sean McVay, there's two different game scripts. Obviously, you have Matthew Stafford is going to be slinging the ball, and then Cam Akers could potentially be, he's going to say, hey, my running backs are healthy. Let's try to get these guys going early. So there was a point in time, but I think the safer route is going, in my opinion, Matthew Stafford. But I personally would be okay if you were to take the chance on taking 12 rushing attempts for Cam Akers. But that's up to you guys.
All right, so ones for Josh Allen that I thought you guys could also explore. 277.5 passing yards. Is that still the same? No, they've raised it. Okay. 317 total yards. Is that still the same? Okay, yeah. So 317 total yards. Josh Allen actually hit the lower number on this in 65% of his games last year. Mm-hmm. Now, we anticipate this to be a shootout, so take that as you will. But just some options to throw out towards you guys. And Diggs is ones that look like sneaky appeal. For example, Diggs, 6 receptions. You look at that and you think he'll get 6 receptions. Well, you need him to hit 7. You need him to get 7 receptions. Otherwise, it's a push. And, you know, Diggs had lower he hit lower on that number 53% of his games last year. Going to be covered by Jalen Ramsey. So be careful with that one. But yeah, this is a fun game. We're excited. You guys know our picks. Again, use our promo code LAND, LAND, at UnderDogFantasy.com. There's a link in the description that you can choose. And make sure that you deposit at least $10 to get your deposit, or to get it matched up to $100.
Exactly.
So good luck Thursday Night Football. Rams, Bills. Why don't you comment down below your predictions, pick'ems that you're making. Thanks for watching.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.